Hi, welcome back to Waxing On. It's Wednesday, and that means classic rock. Now, today, I'm getting away from our usual routine of CDs and albums, and I actually have a DVD, courtesy of my friend Colleen, who drops off music once in a while that she picks up at yard sales, secondhand stores, all those places I tell you to search out some of those old discs and vinyls. This one is a DVD sampler, so we know it's going to be a lot of different artists. It says live at Montreux. Now, if you've been watching the show, you know usually Montreux is connected with our jazz shows on Monday, because Montreux International Jazz Festival has been around for a lifetime. This one's a little different. It actually features classic rock. Give you an idea. I'll give you a look at it here. We'll just touch on who's in there in a minute. The unfortunate part with a lot of these, again, no information inside, right? Basically, it's just the DVD. So the only information I have is who's performing on it. But it is a good cross-section. And again, it was kind of nice to see some of these artists, because again, with these samplers, like I often mention, it's a chance for you to discover somebody maybe you haven't thought about in a while, or you haven't heard at all, hear them perform, and search up more of their music. Really, that's kind of the purpose of this whole show, has been, when I'm going through my collection, to introduce people to music that they maybe haven't experienced, or artists they haven't known about. And now that everything available on the streaming networks, you can go back and discover this at basically no cost. I mean, back in my day, yeah, we had to run out, buy a record at the record store. If you liked it, great. If you didn't, you were stuck with it. And a lot of times stores didn't stock that much. So you had to order it in and wait, weeks or a month to get something in. So it was really nice now with streaming that everything's right at your fingertips. You hear about somebody, say, well, let's go check theirs out. Most times their whole catalog is there. I mean, you've really got an opportunity here. So anyways, let's take a look at who's on this DVD. Starting out with Deep Purple, doing a hit, Smoke on the Water. Everybody's got to recognize that too. Gary Moore doing Stumble. Emerson, Lake and Palmer from 1997 doing Tiger in the Spotlight. Roy Gallagher, Tattooed Lady, 1975. The Jeff Healey Band, and we featured Jeff Healey quite a few episodes ago. Great guitar player from Toronto. Had a lot of great music he performed. Very short lifespan, unfortunately. Some of you may remember him from the movie Roadhouse. He was a performer in the house band. Jeff Healey doing My Little Girl from 1999. Otis Rush. Who's he got as guest? Eric Clapton, Luther Allison. They're doing Every Day I Have the Blues from 1986. We've got Moody Blues doing Gemini Dream. Alice Cooper, School's Out. Now, I haven't featured Alice Cooper on here yet, but I think I may. I only had one Alice Cooper album, and we'll get to that. It was on cassette, and if you've been watching for any length of time, you know I can't find my cassettes, but we may feature it anyways. It was a classic. I was first exposed to Alice Cooper when I was in high school. I may have mentioned in some of these other shows, when I was in high school, we had a jukebox, if any of you old enough to remember what that is, in the cafeteria. And three tunes I remember playing quite often, not myself playing, but hearing play quite often, were Two by Joe Cocker from the Mad Dogs and Englishmen album, The Letter and Cry Me a River. The other was Alice Cooper, not School's Out, but 18. That's how far back this was. He was singing the song 18, which is still a classic. I mean, I listen to it occasionally. I realize the guy's old now, but still a great tune. Anyway, School's Out on here. Susan Vega doing Luca. Mike Oldfield doing Platinum, parts 1 to 4. We got Lou Reed. Now, we talked about Lou Reed before, too, both with solo albums and with Velvet Underground. Classic performer, legend in music. Lou Reed doing a song called Perfect Day. Steve Earle, Copperhead Road. That's probably one of the biggest hits. If you didn't know Steve Earle at all, that probably was the one song you would know by him. Canned Heat. Boy, we just talked about them a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? We looked at the early demo tapes they had, but, again, I mentioned Woodstock coming up on another show here that we talked about. I already taped, so I'm taping out a sequence. You caught me. Anyways, Woodstock album. Get a chance to check it out. Canned Heat doing On the Road Again. or no, going up the country on Woodstock. On the Road Again's on this one. A great band, nice bluesy, very accessible, and again, I don't think they got a lot of exposure like they should have. We really didn't have the kind of stations that were playing that kind of music at the time. Once FM came along a little bit more, but it was through the Woodstock album and movie that I actually became aware of them and became a fan. And wrapping it up with Dr. John. Now, most people know the name. I do have a Dr. John album, but I'm trying to find it for you. A great performer as well. He's doing Iko Iko. So a real cross-section of musicians. A great sampler for the different styles, the different performers. If you haven't had a chance to check them out, do so. If you can find something like this, I believe this one was another one of those secondhand store rummage sale kind of purchases you find. So you never know where you're going to find something like this. Might not be available in the stores. May be hard to find online. But certainly there's some treasures to be made. Checking out yard sales, checking out secondhand stores, checking out rummage sales. So that's it for today. A very interesting video live at Montreux, kind of a change up for them doing the classic rock, but a great sampler for some great artists of my generation. Okay, join us on Friday when we'll be looking at a special box set I have. Till then, everybody take care, stay safe. We'll see you on Friday.